moms, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are all doing well. So today I am just going to be talking a little bit about teaching textbooks and Abeka's math. Now this is not at all going to be in Abeka versus teaching textbooks. I'm doing this video just because I know that a lot of you mothers are homeschooling with Abeka's curriculum, and some of you have asked me to explain how teaching textbooks is kind of compared to Abeka. So I'm just going to tell you guys our experience. Now remember, when I post these videos, this is not telling you that one curriculum is better than the other. We all know that all of our kids learn differently, so one curriculum could work really good for us and not for you. So I'm just going to start off by explaining how teaching textbooks works and what we like about it and what we like more about it than Abeka. So I talked to my 3rd grade daughter and my 7th grade niece to kind of get their input on it as well, so that you guys see it from a kid's standpoint as well. Now when we purchased this, we purchased I want to say it was the 2.0. They're on 4.0 now, so if you went on now, you can get it at a 4.0. But when we ordered it last year, we decided to do the 2.0. That means that we got the CD-ROMs. It comes with 4 different discs. And then we got the teaching textbooks book. So this is literally all of the work that they're going to be doing on the actual computer. And then we also got this answer booklet. Now for next year, I'm not going to be purchasing the book or the booklet. And I'll get into the reasons why once I start talking about them a little bit. But this is what we purchased as a set. It cost about $120, I believe, for the set. Now, if you were to go on now and sign up with them, I believe it's less than $45 or less than $50 for a whole 12-month enrollment for one kid. So that is really, really reasonable. Okay, so getting into it, with teaching textbooks, it is not a traditional way of learning. For us Abeka moms, or us adults that were in a public school system, we are usually used to the traditional teaching. So sitting in a classroom with the teacher in front explaining everything to us. With teaching textbooks, it's literally on a computer, and I will show you guys after I explain this to you. But when you're on the computer, it will have a voice that kind of sounds automated, but it's not. It's someone's voice, and he's breaking down the lecture to you. So when he's breaking the lecture down, he's showing an example on the screen, but it's not a person. My daughter and my niece like it. They really enjoy it. So I think it's just kind of getting used to not having that traditional way of learning or teaching, but they're really excelling in it, and they really, really enjoy it. So that's number one. It's not a traditional way of learning. You're not watching a teacher, but there is somebody explaining the lecture to you, and you are still seeing it on the screen. And again, I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, now touching on that subject. Now the pro with having it done like that on the computer is, say for instance, your child is with Abeka and you are having them watch every lesson. Now those videos tend to last for the math section about 40 minutes long. So your child is watching basically a 40-minute lecture of a teacher in front of the class teaching the class. That includes all of the other students. So it's kind of like being at a regular school. So say your child already knows how to multiply with 2s and 5s, okay? So during that lecture, that's what the teacher's teaching, and your child has to sit through the whole 40 minutes of something that they're already excelling in. With teaching textbooks, when they have, let's say a lesson is based around multiplication, they will do the lecture at the beginning. It's very short, and then they will move directly on to their problems. Now, say that they get a problem wrong. You have a choice, or they have a choice. It'll come up, and it'll ask if they'd like to see how they worked out the problem, or how to work out the problem. You could either say no if they just messed up on the answer, or if they just didn't understand it, they can always press yes, and that tutorial voice will walk through the actual problem that they worked through and got wrong. So I really like that. My daughter really likes that. I remember doing Abeka, and honestly, you guys, I loved Abeka. I still love Abeka. I think that they are a wonderful curriculum. It's very strong. The teaching is very strong. My daughter learned a lot from it, but I was finding last year that she was dreading math. Dreading it, and I am not good at math. I never have liked math either, so I didn't want her to go down that same path. So I was thinking, you know, finding something that can fit her needs better and she would enjoy it and not feel that bored or dreading feeling of even doing math. We literally wouldn't even start math and she would already be complaining about it. So with this, she's really enjoying it. She actually likes to do it second. We do Bible, and then most of the time she chooses to do math next. So that is a win for me. Now I will say that teaching textbooks is a little bit behind. I mean, I don't want to say behind, but their teaching technique's a little different. And so with Abeka, they use grades. So with teaching textbooks, it's all by level. So for instance, my daughter's in 3rd grade, but she's on level 4. Some of the things on level 4, I'm noticing she knows already, but that's the same as Abeka. You know, the first, I don't know, couple months of Abeka, you're doing review. And that's basically the same thing here with teaching textbooks. There's a lot of review. She's just now starting out higher multiplication. And I'm pretty sure Abeka in 3rd grade is already working through that. So this leads me to the next thing. So another thing that Abeka has is they do the memorization for the family charts or the family multiplications or addition, subtraction. With teaching textbooks, they do not do any memorization type drills. I am missing that. I will say I feel like they really help my daughter with her math. So I just purchased Times Tables, and we just finished up with 2 weeks working on that, and she actually is doing really well with her upper multiplications now. I also have some multiplication games that I've printed out, and I will be showing that in another video. So be sure to keep an eye out for our busy bags or busy folders that I will be showing you guys, things that we're using. I've also printed out some charts on my own from the internet. What else we're using is this multiplication keyboard that I purchased from Rainbow Resources, and she doesn't use that quite often, but we'll see how that goes. She may use it more while we're doing teaching textbooks, but we're starting back on our regular lessons. So that is something else that they do not have that Abeka does, and that's something that I wish that they incorporated into their curriculum, but they don't. So one thing I will say, we are only on lesson, I believe, 55, and she is doing really, really well. She's enjoying it. Like I said, she wants to do that second on her list of subjects throughout the day. Now we are doing a lot of review. I also mentioned that. So I'm not sure if the way they are doing the lectures is going to work with her. We haven't really gotten into new concepts except for this multiplication. And so we kind of, you know, branched out and figured out what to use to help. But I will be seeing, you know, in the near future how well she's catching on to those concepts. I'm pretty sure she'll do fine. It's basically the same as a teacher teaching you, except you're watching it worked out on the screen instead of a person working it out. So I'm pretty sure she'll do fine with that. Maybe I'll do an end of the year like recap on our curriculums and let you know what we really thought about it overall. But so far we are really loving it. I love it. She loves it. My niece loves it. She felt the same way. So anything I'm giving you guys information on, it's basically from both of their point of views as well as mine and my sister's. Another thing with teaching textbooks is I feel like it's made more for an average type person or child that, you know, does well in math but isn't like a math whiz. Now if you have a child that is completely excelling in math and never needs help and kind of just going further and beyond what they expect from them, I would definitely say look into something more challenging for them than teaching textbooks. It's a great curriculum. I mean, our kids are good in math. They do well. They get A's and B's. But if you have somebody that's like way above where they're supposed to be with math, I would say look at a different curriculum for them. So some of the things that I really love about teaching textbooks is it grades their work automatically. And if you guys have been on my channel or are following me over on Instagram, you know I despise correcting. I actually have a bin full of correcting that I have to do right now. That is one thing that is just not my favorite, and I put it off until I cannot put it off any longer. But that is one thing with the math, is teaching textbooks automatically, and the system will correct it, and they literally have like a page in the system that you can go to as an adult, as the parent, and check their grades. Now, I'll try to show this to you guys on her actual laptop, but when you log in, you have two different logins. One's for the child and one is for the parent, and you guys each have a password that's separate that you use. So the child goes in and does their lessons. The parent can go in, check the grades, print the sheet out that shows the grades. You can even go in, say that your child is working through a lesson and they press the wrong button on mistake. Now that has happened to my daughter, and they know the concept, they just messed up on pressing the wrong button. So I can actually go in, delete that, and she can redo that. So you can even delete a whole lesson if they're not catching on or they don't understand that lecture and they've tried to do it without your knowledge. You can go in, delete that, explain it to them, sit with them, walk through it with them, and then they'll better understand it, and then you can have them do the lesson again. I like that about teaching textbooks. I haven't had to do it yet, so we really haven't had to delete anything out, but it is possible, and that is something that you can do. The price point in teaching textbooks is really, really reasonable, so that's another thing that I love. And then the other thing I love is just that my kid enjoys doing it, you know, that it's not a fight every day about her having to do her math. She's actually enjoying it. She and my niece say that it feels more like playing a video game, not a video game, but a game, than doing a class, because it's on the screen. They get this little cute little icon. It could be the penguin, it could be a dog. They have different little guys and they make noises when they do things right. So they like that, and they can change it however they like. It's independent, so I do like that about it, only because I can work with my son or get her next subject ready or do things around the house that I need to change laundry or do dishes or something while she's working on her math. I do like that. I don't like that I'm not overseeing it because I'm not even doing her grading. That is one plus I will say about having her workbook. That I like, that I may struggle with not having next year, because I look through that while I'm planning for the upcoming week to just see where she's at, see what she's doing. So I really do like that. So now I'm second guessing if I'm going to get the whole curriculum, because I really like having that textbook to look through. So I'll have to decide what I want to do, but you can always go on the computer and look at their next week's worth of work. It's just convenient having the paper, you know, the book in front of you. So that's basically it, you guys. There's nothing else that I really think I need to talk to you guys about. If there's any questions that you guys have, just make sure that you leave it down in the comments for me, and I'll try to be sure to get back to you. If I know the answer, I'll try to help. But now I'm just gonna walk you over to her laptop, and I'm gonna try to walk through with you guys what it looks like. Okay, so once you get to this page, you're just going to log in. I'm going to log in as my daughter. So it will then take us to Math 4, teaching textbooks. This is what her lessons look like. We're gonna click on a lesson to get started. So let's go to 50. She's done 50, so let's go to 51. Okay, so let me just show you real quick. So when they have finished a lesson, it'll show all of these check marks next to it all the way down. So it'll show that she's finished with lesson 50. So we are on 51. Okay, so we are on 51. I think I said 55. We're on 51. So then you're gonna go to lecture. Let me turn this down because I don't know how loud it's going to be.
Lesson 51, multiplying by 7 and 12. We've been going over all the basic multiplication facts, but we still haven't covered the 7s and the 12s.
Okay, so it's basically going to walk her through the lecture and explain to her. this is how it explains
We
it.
don't
Now I'm
have
not
any
sure
good
about
rules
copyright,
to
so
help
I'm not
remember
going to show the
sevens,
whole thing.
But since you're always multiplying 7 by
But this
some
is how
other
it
number,
explains it
you
to
can
her.
use the rules.
Okay, so I'm going to pause it. Now up here is where they can change their little guy. These are the different choices that they have. And then, so once she listens to the lecture, let's see here, hold on, there may be more to the lecture. Nope, okay, so next just brought her back to
In this problem, it says it's
lecture A,
2:20.
okay,
You
or
need to figure out
practice
how many
A.
minutes
So this
it
is going to be
until
her
3
first
o'clock. Is it
problem.
A, 2 minutes,
So,
B, 3 minutes, C, 20 minutes, D, 40 minutes, or E, 45 minutes?
so then she would then click what it is, okay? Or you can click hint. If they're not understanding it, they can get a hint, okay? So here's a hint.
Remember, there are 60 minutes between 2 and 3 o'clock.
Okay, so that gives her, okay, so it's 2:20. How many minutes is it until 3? So that is 40. So then she'd click
Good job.
40, and it tells her that it's right. Then you can ask to see how they did that. Okay, so I'm just gonna show you. And that's the same thing that will come up if they get it wrong.
To solve this problem, we need to remember that there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So between 2 o'clock and 3 o'clock, there are 60 minutes. And since it's 2:20, to figure out how many minutes it is until 3
Okay,
o'clock,
so you
we're going
guys
to have to
see
subtract.
how it walks through that.
Here you need to
So
add
then,
24
if
plus
you look
30.
back to this side here, it shows that practice A is complete. She has that check mark. So it's gonna walk all the way through this. Okay, so then she can go in and see her grades. So this is basically her grade book. And it goes from lessons, how many problems she had, how many she completed, how many she got right, and her score. Now, sometimes they have like a bonus lesson to where if they didn't do well during the lesson, they can do the bonus and get extra points. And she usually does it anyways. So see how it says 105% or 109%. So she did bonus rounds there and just got a higher grade. So it's really easy to keep track of her grades here. Down at the bottom, it just shows lesson 1 through 32, 33 through 64, and so on. So then you can go to quizzes, and it shows the same thing, the quizzes that she completed and what her grade is. And here are her bonuses. So these are the bonus rounds that she did. It shows how many attempts. The problem type was adding, so it'll say adding, subtracting. See over here, it's dividing and multiplication. So her score was 23 out of 45. So she got a bonus point of, or she got bonus points of +2. So that is how you check out her grades. She could even check these out, okay? And you can print them out as well. They have the print option there. To get back, you just hit textbook and it brings you back to the lesson. So now I'm gonna go to settings. And you can always change the characters. So buddy characters are on, you can turn them off. You can turn the sounds on or off. Timeout for a hint, you can do the hint sparkle and sound off or on. So those are her settings. Now let me see if I can, I think I have to exit out completely, but let me go in under the parent and show you how you guys can go in and change things in the grade book. Okay, so parent home, get into the grade book. I could change my parent password, change or delete student account, add another student, or grade book transfer. So I'm just gonna go into the get into the grade book, and then this is how you can go in and change things around. So you can delete this whole lesson. So say, like I was explaining to you, say she went through lesson 51 and she did it without really knowing what she was doing, but she was just finishing the lesson instead of coming to you and asking, okay? So you can go in and actually delete the whole thing and then maybe go over it with her or have her watch the lecture with you and you guys could work through the lesson together. Okay, so say I want to go in and correct here. So I'm going to click on lesson 6 and I see here practice A has the X, that means she got that wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna go to edit. I can either delete the problem or change it. So let's go to change. and then that automatically changes it. Now what you want to do is, if you did do this, you want to make sure to go back to lesson 6 and walk through it with your daughter or son and explain to them and have them do it correctly. Or you can always go in and you can delete it, and it'll delete that whole thing, and then you go back and you work through that problem with them. So we didn't do that because she just got it wrong. She knew how to do it, but she just did the answer wrong. So in that case, I kind of feel like it's cheating if I go in there and have her have a second chance at it. So we don't normally do that unless I know that she understood the problem and she accidentally just hit the wrong key. I will let her change that. But these are ones that she got wrong. So we don't do that. But you can always print any of these out. So I'm going to go back. And again, it's the same layout. So you have your different lessons here that you can click through, and then you have your quizzes, and then you have your bonuses. Same exact layout that she had. It just gives you the option to delete and to edit. And that is basically it, you guys. I want to show you guys though, this is the actual textbook that I was talking to you guys about that I purchased, that I'm kind of weary about not purchasing it this year. But it's the exact problems that she has on the computer, but it's just in a book. So it even has like the lecture and everything at the beginning. Let's see if I can get to it. Here's the lecture that breaks it down, and then there's the problem, and then it starts with practice A. So it's basically the same thing. This is why I like having it, because I like to look through this as I'm planning for the week to know what she's going to be up against or challenged by. So that's basically what the book is. Again, here are her CDs. She has 4. It tells what lessons. That is just like Abeka's. Abeka does the same thing. And then I have my Math 4 answer booklet, and it literally is just a booklet with the answers in it, you guys. So I'm not going to show, I'm sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed. But it just walks through the practice, the problem sets, and the answers to those. But that's it. That is how teaching textbook is. I hope that this was helpful to you guys. And if you guys have any questions, please just feel free to leave them in my comments, and I will try to help you guys. All right, have a great day and be blessed always.